what is your personal brand? We all have a personal brand, whether you like it or not. It's just a matter of what it is versus what you want it to be, right? And what I would say is, it's your reputation and your aspirations, and then also who you actually are in business or personally, right? So this thing's kind of put together. So your reputation is what it is, no matter what, right? Whether it's good or bad. Your aspirations are what you really want to be, right? So that's if you want to be Elon Musk or Zach Miller, probably not going to happen, right? It's really hard to do that. But, those things are going to make up what your personal brand is, right? And then what you actually do is going to be what people recognize and what people know about you, right? So there are a couple of things that go into this as well. So awareness. How much do people know about you, right? About you and your personal brand. Trust is a big factor, right? Do people trust you? Do they think you're honest? That's going to help with your brand, your reputation, and then perception. Now, I've talked about this too with business branding. All these things are the same for a business. Perception is a big thing, right? So, you want to look bigger than you are, maybe. Maybe you want to look like you have a larger team. You're more capable. Being out there all over the place, like me and Eric put a lot of content out. We speak at a lot of things. People think we're way more places than we actually are. It's a lot of perception, but it works in our favor, right? People are like, wow, you guys are everywhere. We're at the office for the most of the day, We're not everywhere. But it's that perception, and people say, hey, I know you. I saw you here. They maybe just saw me on LinkedIn, but now that starts to build that brand and get that awareness out there, which is fun to do if you have a good reputation, right? If you have a bad reputation, you got to figure that out and fix that up first before you actually, put yourself out there to the world. Personal brands. Here, let's look at two of the top personal brands out there. And if you can tell here, he's actually a little bit smaller than me. Yeah. But so you got Kevin Daisey over here. So I'm a local brand, right? I'm not known nationally. Not yet. It's gonna happen. But my focus is local, right? It's my relationships here. It's how I get clients. It's who I know, and it's what people think of me here locally, right? So maybe it's a couple cities here. People know me. That's it. I'm here. Versus you got like The Rock, who has a global brand. But nonetheless, you have to look at what is your brand, what do people think of me, and how much control do you have on that, right? And how are you going to affect that? And if you don't like what it is right now, how are you going to change that? So really, I'm going to talk about 6 things that'll help you either redevelop it. I know you in the back, you're going to switch to a different business. So right now, people know you for what you do now. And it's actually kind of difficult to just flip over to something else, and now they know you for that, right? So Kevin Daisey's 6 steps to develop your personal brand. Pretty easy, right? So first, you need to define your brand. And you need to figure out what do you really want to people to know you for? Is it? And let me give you a couple of past brands, personal brands of mine. Growing up, I was known for surfing. I was a surfer and an artist. I won like art contests, painting, drawing, and I surfed. That was it. That's all I did. I don't really draw anymore or do art like I used to. I got out of that because I got into web design. And when I started as a web designer, I was a web guy for a couple years. I was the web guy, which was totally awesome because that's what I wanted people to know me as. But then I quickly realized that I'm just Kevin and I'm the web guy, and I wanted people to think about my company because I wanted to grow my business. And I didn't want to be the sole person that worked for that business. And so for a couple years, I was ID Web and this other company, and I didn't talk about me so much. And I was the only person in the company for a couple years, but I never talked about it as a one-person shop. So I created this perception, and I had a website that looked like, we were awesome, right? We did all this stuff. And behind the scenes was Kevin doing everything, trying to do as much work as he could, because I wanted to get the web guy out of there. Like, I didn't want that anymore. So then fast forward to going from ID Web, where we're mainly a web shop, and we did some SEO, but we were mainly a website development company. And then switching from that to Array Digital, where we're digital marketing. Websites are in there, but now I don't want to be known as the website company. And if you want a website, go to Kevin. Well, you can still do that, of course, but we do so much more than that. And so now now we got to flip it a little bit, So now I have to, again, work on changing my personal brand to be Kevin, the digital marketing expert. He owns a digital marketing company versus Kevin, the web guy, right? So as you go through life and you change careers, you're going to have to refocus your personal brand. And there might be someone you see 10 years later and they still think of you as that other person, right? And that happens to me now. Oh, Kevin on Facebook. I need a website. Who would you recommend? Oh, Kevin can build you a website. Well, Kevin ain't building you nothing. Kevin doesn't know how to build websites really anymore. So I can refer you to my team and bring you into my company, but Kevin can't do that for you. But if that's what I'm known for, that's fine. It still helps grow my business. But it's nice to be able to say, hey, well, that's not what I do anymore. This is what I do now. And so if you get enough reach out there and you have enough messaging, then you can, change this for people. Right. Get consistent. So now if you know you got your personal brand, you want to be known for this person, as this person, for this business, and you do these things, and you're trustworthy and all this stuff, right? Go to all your social media accounts. Look at all the content you're putting out there. Look at what they say. What's the pictures that of you represent? And make sure that you get consistent across the board so that people think of you the way you want them to. A good example would be, for me, my LinkedIn is totally business. I mean, if you look at my LinkedIn profile, it's branded up as much as it can be. Actually, I was just in the COVID Biz magazine for like LinkedIn tips. And I have Facebook, which is totally personal and family. And I don't really overlap the two too much. But still, if you go on Facebook, people know about my business. They know what I do, but I don't really flood it with business stuff. But I do just enough to where I still get leads from there. People know what I do, but I keep it personal, right? So it's still consistent, and I still have work to do on that, to be honest with you. But I can still have a personal account in my personal life. Still, they know what I do and what I represent. So create great content. So once you get consistent, you get all your platforms out there, and not just your platforms, but you personally. How do you interact with people? How do you go to networking events? What do you say? All that's going to lead to what people know of you to do, right? And every time they talk to you, oh, that Kevin does this, or Zach does that. You got to get great content from there. So now that you have these platforms and you have everything consistent, you got to be putting out content all over the place. I know she said she saw us on LinkedIn and sees our content out there. We're about to do 10 times the content that we're doing right now. And so we actually have a new hire that's coming on board next week. She's dedicated to just putting out content for the company and me and Eric, and also our clients. But we need to turn it up, and we need to get more out there, right? So now that we have these kind of brands defined, we got to put great content, video, audio. We have podcasts now. Anything we can do to get the content out there, but make sure it's good evergreen content. So make new connections. I think the main thing I talk about with LinkedIn is a lot of people have traditionally they use it as a place to have your resume. You lock it down and you only connect with people you've actually met personally. And that's great. And I would say open it up though. Now you have this brand and you want to grow, right? You want people to know about you. So the whole awareness part is a big part of this. If you want any kind of personal brand, you want people to actually know who you are, you got to open yourself up. It's almost like if you're running for politics. Like you're wide open and everyone's going to come at you. But so let people connect with you. Connect with them. You can verify that they have connections that you know, or they're not just going to spam you or something like that. And as you meet people, go connect with them. So if you meet everyone in the room right here, get their card, go connect with them on LinkedIn. You met them here. And you can say, hey, I met you at Marketers Anonymous. But grow that connection, because you need an audience to talk to. So if you're going to put this content out there about sales, Susan does sales. Like that's what we want to know her for. So put that content out there. You need to grow that audience, and that's on, not just on your online connections, but your relationships you have. If you join boards, I'm a marketing chair for 2 organizations on purpose, right? I there's all these organizations now, I have those connections, and they know Kevin is the marketing chair, and that helps with my business and my personal brand. Get recognition. So Zach's got a good saying is if you qualify, apply. So a lot of people, they don't like to apply for them, awards for themselves. Or some companies don't like to apply for things because they just like, it's kind of showboaty, I don't want to do that. Yeah. Well, there's tons of awards out there, and if you don't apply for them, you might not get submitted by someone else, right? Now, you're going to have things like where your friends might submit you, and hopefully they do a nice write-up for you. But I would say go out of your way, go look at all the business magazines or like Inside Business here locally. These are just some of the awards that I got and the company got just last year. So Top 40 Under 40, Millennials on the Move, we got a Webby Award, Best Place to Work from Coastal Virginia Magazine. So some of these are industry awards, and we're constantly submitting for more awards. Those just help stand your brand up a little bit. They don't even know what they're for sometimes. Kevin won something, that's all I know, and now he looks like a cooler person or a better person, or the company got an award, so maybe they're doing good, right? Best of whatever, right? It does something to help. It spreads awareness. I posted on LinkedIn, I shared a Paul Dockery got 40 under 40 this past year. I think I was the year before you. All I did was share his link from Inside Business, which should not get any engagement. I said congrats and nothing else. Based on algorithms, sharing a link, you should not get any engagement, and it should just be terrible, right? I got like 20,000 views. It's because people like to see people getting honored or awards or whatever it might be. So I was just blown away by the amount of traction that got. Was it the beard? It was the beard? Okay. So I would urge everyone here, if you're in business, if you work for a business or if it's, whatever, apply for these personal awards and then make sure your business is applying for industry awards. It's going to help you out a lot. Back up. Back up your promise. So it really comes down to you have to back it all up, right? It's all about reputation. And if I said I do this and I show up and Peninsula Heat and Air back here, she's a client of ours. So when they came on board, if we screwed up and we didn't do what we're supposed to do, we're not doing a good job, then they say, hey, yeah, Kevin does that, but they don't do a good job. Or he didn't keep his promise, or they didn't show up to a meeting. So you got to keep your promise, right? I just threw this in. There's a picture of me and the Pope, by the way. Francis.
Is that what you call him?
Yeah, that's what I call him.
Where was it?
I was in Rome.
It is Lent, so like.
Yeah, no, this is just a cutout. But I'm just letting you know he's got my back is what I'm saying here. He's got my back. So what you got to do, though, you got to keep your promise. You got to hold up to your promise, right? So if you don't, everything goes to crap. Your reputation falls apart. People don't trust you. And then especially if you have this big exposure out there and you do something wrong, then it's a lot harder to bounce back from that. So you got to stick to what you say you're going to do. So just to recap, again, mine's pretty quick. There's me and Zach right there, hanging out in the conference room. So just to recap, define your brand. And I would say everyone do the exercise of defining like what's your real brand. I don't think anyone really takes the time to say, what do I want to represent? Where do I aspire to be? Where do I want to be? And then what am I saying out there? What do people think about me? What's my title say? What does my content say? What do my headshots look like? Maybe they're jean jackets. Maybe they're in a suit. How do you want to be known, right? Do you want to be an anomaly, or do you want to be a guy in a suit over there, like Paul?
There's no time.
There's no time. So you got to create great content and be consistent. Make new connections wherever you can. You got to be out in the community doing stuff, right? Try to get some awards, get recognition. People see that as, you're moving forward and you're growing. And then back up your promise, right? So you got to do what you say you're going to do. That's all I got.